And I'm live. That is pretty cool. Today is 14th of February 2026 and Saturday. And before beginning, I would like to read a quote from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Yep, a random quote. No longer talk about at all. I messed this up. No longer talk at all about the kind of man a good man ought to be, but be such. It is a nice thing to say. Yep. So let's begin. So do not just say what the kind of man you should be such. That is cool thing. Marcus Aurelius was cool. And yep, here, starting the game. Yep, we have to start building the game, a function, a simple function which runs the game. We do have some things in the file, and yeah, here we have to complete this function, run rapid game, or we did a lot of changes in the database. Yep, we did do a lot of changes in the database. Our function was declared. Yep, we did do. We changed the database schema, which, yeah, we changed the database schema, which we should update. And data.ts database.ts we updated the function signatures. No, we did not update the function signatures. We are not even storing anything about the games on the database yet, so we do not have to change anything here. We already did do the change here. Is game, add game, get game. Yep, it's good enough. And data.ts is right here. Database.ts is right here. And yep, someone said that I should write a log, which now seems like a good idea because this looks like this project is going to be a bit bigger than I thought. And also, yep, also bigger than that. And also, we are just working on the back end right now. We haven't written a single line of code on the front end. So, yeah, logging seems like a good idea. Backend.txt, backend log.txt. I think or markdown would be nice, but I don't know how to write markdown. Just anyways, MD. So this is stream number 9. Yep, this is stream number 9. So okay, day 9, let's say. Till now, what do we have? We have working user or adding new users, and yep. Okay, let's be a bit more. Wait, shit, this log thing I will do off the stream because why do I give time on this thing on the stream? Makes sense. It is boring and not for you guys. You can, if you are interested, you can watch or read from GitHub. Okay, database. Yep, everything on the database side is updated, which is cool. APIs, I think we might have to do something. Start game. There was a error somewhere. Here is start game. Why do we have, which is in the APIs right here, a function whose declare type is neither undefined void must return a value, and this thing is not returning any value. Okay, because we were looking at how what as does. Okay, this thing returns a game create game request whose type is create game request body. And yes, should we also need some way or some place to write the API endpoints. And I will ask just like AI, what is the standard way to do this for the backend made using Olivia? Yes, what is the standard way of listing out uh, API endpoints for other developers to see with the route, the body, the result, and headers, and also what is the standard way for any backend project, and is there some other program which is generally used for listing these out so that these can also be tested and used in the front end. Let's see. For Elysia, Swagger. Okay, use Swagger documentation. Info title, my API documentation, tags, name, auth, post, do something and then return. And the next thing is tags. Okay, we are giving this thing everything right here. Then, okay, we are giving everything tags, detail, summary, description. What is the query supposed to be? What is the header supposed to be? What is the response supposed to be? And then console.log swagger. We can go to slash swagger to get a full interactive UI. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. The Universal Industry Standard Open API Swagger. Swagger. Regardless of the framework, the standard is the Open API specification, formerly Swagger. Okay, Open API specification, formerly Swagger. It was earlier Swagger. What is this specification? Popular tools for listing, testing, sharing APIs. Postman. Okay, there is a thing called Swagger. Here is the ecosystem. Yeah. The single source of truth describing your APIs, routes, path, requests, body, schemas. Everything is described. Open API spec. Okay. So do we have a file called Open API spec which lists these endpoints? Or do we have to write in the like handler itself, with the handler itself? Yep. Swagger slash JSON. You don't write it manually, but it is generated from Swagger. Okay, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Let's do this for. Yep, that is pretty cool. And the things that we can add are, what should the query look like? What should the headers look like? What would the ultimate response look like? For 200, we will return an object. Okay, that is cool. That is cool. Okay. And tags users. And for the main app, on the main app, we are calling Swagger documentation. Info my API documentation, tags, auth, and user management, auth, detail, summary, description. Okay, so we have to add this to our main app Swagger where we will give tags. But I guess if we are going to do this, then all the other, we cannot just create random instances of Alicia. We will have to import this one which has this Swagger function, Swagger instance being used here. Okay, shit, and write the rest of the routes on top of this. Okay, APIs router.use, even before that, router.use Swagger is not here. Swagger is not even available. Swagger is a thing. Seems like it. Elysia JS. One add this Swagger. Yeah. We do have Swagger now. Swagger, and this will take in some information, tags and documentation. What does that do? How we can look it right here. Provider documentation. Yep, we are using this for documentation. This thing says documentation, and there must also be a thing called tags, which is not actually here. Okay. Alicia JS Swagger plugin. Swagger endpoint for an Alicia server. Install with this accessing slash Swagger would show you scalar UI with the generated endpoint documentation from the Alicia server. You can also access the raw open API spec at this. Cool. And also can we make it so that this Swagger endpoint is not sent to the um, production endpoint, is not, what is a production endpoint, is not sent to the production um, compile production version of this. Disable Swagger in production. Simple conditional, most common. Okay, write it in the app itself. Okay. Process.env node env. If the okay, if we are not in production level, then this production version. Node env. This thing is not equal to and also console.log. No, let's see, and also this thing we can point out for now is rapid game is not a thing anymore. It is game, and also get rapid game is not a thing. Get game is a thing. Run rapid game is also not a thing. It is run game and remove all this. This game takes in two things. Shit. It takes three things: color, time, and increment. Color. This would depend on what is the color that this current user wants to play with. Therefore, we have to update the input type. And shit, yes, we have to update the input type. Yep, we have to update the body of this request. Body is t dot object. Expected two arguments, but none. I guess body comes later on. Ws dot game. This, this. Okay, and somehow we cannot put this here. How did this used to look when this was okay? This, like this, okay. Body cannot exist here, it seems. So where do we put these decorators? Here? No, we don't. We get them right here, I think. Yeah. Body. Yeah. Body is of type t dot object. Object. Object where the user will give us three things, which would be type, uh, color, t dot string, let's say. Why? Okay. t dot color, and other things which are going to be there is time, which is going to be t dot number, and increment t dot number. Okay, these things are going to be there, and is game, give it color, time, and increment from the body. This dot body, this is just WS. WS dot data dot body does not exist there directly. WS dot data dot user and WS dot data dot color. Nope. This body not exist there. Data dot set query route colors request. Okay, and request dot body dot color does not exist there. Okay. And the type of this color is going to be the color even data dot body dot does not exist. Property color does not exist on type never, whatever that means. Type never. Never is the type. Plugins. No. Elixir.js. WebSockets. What is the context? Message, incoming message, query, string or URL parameter. So how do we get the body? Or maybe it does not make sense to get body. Maybe it does not make sense to get body in a WebSocket, but maybe it does because to establish a WebSocket, we do send a HTTP request. That is the first thing that we send, and then a WebSocket is established. Body in Elixir Web. How to get body in Elixir WebSocket? Yep, good enough. Bicycle. And yep, I am audible. I hope, and yep, I am. That is cool. In Elixir WebSocket, there is no body like HTTP. Instead, you receive data through message. Nope, but there could be an initial body. Does it make sense that there could be an initial body? Full example with different message types. Nope. But to establish that the topic there is an initial HTTPS request that is, so we can send it as params and not in body makes sense. Data dot params. Yep, we can send that thing as param. Data dot params dot color. Type string is not assignable to type color. Okay, and how do we know that a string? Okay, if there are, okay, let's see in color, white, black, and random, and these are the only things which can be expected. So if data dot params color, not original, but let's say raw, if data dot params dot, or if raw in color, the enum color, then let's equals. Yeah, let's change the type of this thing. We have color twice. We have color as h. uh, Color, let's see, color dot value is of type color. Raw color in color, then color equals color raw as color conversion of chemistry. This may be a mistake. It is not going to be a mistake if we do this like this. Like raw element is specified has type any because index expression is not element implicitly has type any because index expression is not of type number. String, how do we index color? Shit. How do we index color? Let's see. I have an email and a string in which might or might not be might not represent some value from that email. How do I check that and then what's the value from the enum which is represented by that mm, string. Yep. How do we get that value? Checking if a string matches that enum active is string active is small. No, we mean the key object or values. Get the values from this. but we mean the key and not this object as okay. Yep, this one is better. Numeric, slightly different. If input in this, then create a constant input, which is input as key of type of this. Okay, that makes more sense. As key of type of color and year. Cool. This is going to be a general problem. We expect the user to send parameters or things from the body. Then how do we validate those things and get them back and get them? And I think Zord is the way to go. Zord is actually the way to go, which makes it shit. We should add everything Zord related here. Zord types.ts. Okay, import z from Zord const create game equals z dot object z object, and this object is going to have a few things. One is going to be color, which is of type z dot enum. That works, that is pretty good. Then time z dot number, and then increment z dot number. Export this, and let's also go to backend and interfaces. Zor types. Copy this whole thing. It copy this whole thing. Paste it. Here's it dot object. What is the problem now? Shit, because this is not the right place to be. Common z dot types. Shit. So let's go to back and interface z dot type. Here we do have Zod here. Okay, we will define all the Zod types in the common file because they will also be required by the front end. And here, user, we are just able to import this like as is. That is pretty cool. Import user created Zod from the common file because that other file is deleted. That is cool. Hello. Good morning. What is good? Everything is good. Marcus Aurelius said that. No, he didn't say that. I'm saying that. And yep, drink a lot of water. It is good for you. Generate pairs. So where even are we? Okay, so all the common types which are needed by the backend and the frontend will be here in this Zod types file. Create game. When creating a user, what should be the input type also should be here. That is cool. That is cool. And this using this Zod, you can work things out. Cool. And also, do we want to add a limit here? We want a number. Yes, we do want a number, which you can check manually if it is smaller than or greater than some limit. Yeah, cool. Game request is not going to be this. Create game. Yeah, every Zord thing will have the word Zord after it. Create game Zord. And should you also write a request here? Create game request Zord. Create user request Zord. Okay, and game requests related to game. And okay, shit, we should also, I think, divide Zord types. Game Zord types of TS. Zord types. This is a game Zord type. Game Zord type. And yep, we need other file. Or we could just rename this one to user Zord types.ts and remove all this, which is not needed. And we now have to fix a few things in the backend interfaces, user create Zord, user create Zord request, and the path is also not right. I think a request, yeah, we should not add a request to that. That is not good. Does not look good. User Zord types. Go to this file and user is create request Zord. Okay, now it is working. And whoever wants something from the common, this thing will only have Zord types. Yep. And whoever requires something from here, they will import it and make a type out of it and use it wherever they want to use it. So that's seems like a good deal. And APIs, here are the APIs interface for game.ts. We have to create a interface for game. Wait, and okay, I have an interface. How do I give that to the plugin part? How do I give that to the plugin part of? Maybe I can game Zord types is not a thing anymore. Yep, leave that. Game Zord types, create game requests, and remove the word requests from an object like this. Create game Zord, create game Zord, and export interface, create game is Create game resort. How do we get the interface out of this? There is a function called types. Z dot infer type of this. Z dot infer. Z is not here. Okay. Import Z. Z dot equal const create game equals Z dot infer is not here somehow. Z dot infer. Z dot infer type of creating video. Okay, that is cool. We have this which we can tell our API, start game API to expect. I think we can just give here create game request. No, this is not even being imported, exported from any place. Yep, game requests. Yep, this is not being exported from anywhere. What is being exported is game. This. So why don't we have this there? Run rapid game. We will be using later on. Gradient. And type of this is gradient. Grade game is a type and must be imported as a type. Okay, shit. Okay, now is the problem. I have an interface. How do I, or I have not even an interface. I have a type. How do I give that as a to the plugin part of Elijah so that it knows what the expected part of the parameter is. Params or anything is, let's see. Passing types to Elijah plugins. The problem, you want your plugin to accept type parameter config app dot use my plugin. So API key and something. Not specifically the thing that I was asking for. Use my, no. Elijah, we can say what the expected type of the params or body is. How do I use a type variable that I already have predefined it? Why fire hydrant? That is not a fire hydrant. Problem you have a type. Yep, that is the type, and I want the body to be of that type. You cannot directly use TypeScript types. Elias needs a runtime schema using T type box. Here, your options are: first, define the schema first, derive from it. Recommended. Okay, let's say I have a Zod object. Zod object. How can I use that instead? Both. I think Zod would be easier to use. Install. Elia has its own Zod thing. Okay. Zod. Get the Zod object. Create user schema, infer. Yep, get the type. Optional. Option 1. Community. As of now, Elijah doesn't have an official first party Zod plugin. The recommended approach is option 2, which is option 2, convert Zod to type of Elijah object. Add Elijah Zod. Okay, get Zod from Elijah Zod and app.users body. Our handler comes here, and then we tell what the type of the body is. Zod dot. Okay, that is good enough. Create user schema. That is good enough. Manually validation. Zod, no plugin needed. This, then don't do anything. Here, just validate. Save parse in itself. Okay. Nope, which is not what we are going to do. Elysia, and it does not exist. ELYSIA. ELYSIA. One add Elysia and get this thing for a hole not found. Shit, there is no library like this. No, there is no Elysia Zod library. And shit, why is it asking me? Wait, if I like, do the opposite thing, there are no cycles in these. Okay, then it asks me again to do the thing. Okay, makes sense. Using Zod and Elixir, right? Sorry, what? How can you hallucinate about something like that? Manual validation, simplest. Let's do manual validation, but using manual validation, we won't get the API documentation that we are looking for. We do not get the API documentation that we are looking for. I guess in that case, we can use some external third party format for documenting the documentation, I think. Yep, that would be cool. Okay. So we'll do this. Create game. No, thank you. We will import the Zod object directly. Import create game Zod, and here response create game Zod dot save parse after getting the current user. Shit. Here, save parse language dot data dot params, and we don't have to do all this stuff that we were doing. We'll do that. Begin. Nope. Real color as COLOUR run rapid game, which would be needed. And this thing we don't have to do. We can just validate on spot and Spotify. Okay. If res dot success, then let's check for not success, then return error true. True, there is error. Message is please send the correct params. Please send the correct params. And I think in such cases, we can even send back what is the expected type. Expected params. Expected params to have uh, color and time, which should be a number, and then increment, which would also be a number. Cool. But if that is not the case and we have the thing that we are looking for, then cool. Cost, color, or you can just here do data rest dot data dot color, which works. Rest dot data dot time, which does not work. Rest dot data dot increment does not work. Okay. Why is time giving error? Rest dot data dot time is there. TypeScript argument of type unknown is not assignable to parameter of type any number, but time is not unknown. We do know time is game. Data dot is game takes in time as the second argument and returns a boolean value. And then run get game requires here it's also like unbind color time increment rest dot data, which is not right, okay, because it is an object. Cool. And where we can directly now say increment, okay, and get game color time and increment. Okay, what is the problem with time? Unknown type is not assignable. How is time unknown? How, how is time really unknown? Time unknown, color unknown? That does not make sense. That does not make sense. Time and color cannot be unknown. They are of type Zod. Weird. I guess we had to call the function. Now it is good. Okay, and what is the expected data dot no shit data dot run game is not a thing. Run game is a thing. Run rapid game? No, just run game. Helper game logic. Remove run rapid game. Why? Black white comes before, of course, then comes black. And Hello. Are you making multiplayer online game? Yep. Any back? Again back. I didn't finish chess game, and this is the only game I'm making. Bro, I wanna say something. I hit shit. That is crazy. That is crazy. Now, is this a like one-time thing or this is normal to you? Because 100 WPM I have only hit once or twice, and yeah, it is crazy. 100 WPM is crazy. 100 is crazy. Yep, 100 is crazy. Shit, thinking. Mine is like 35. Yeah, but it can improve if you are doing touch typing, then 60 to 70 would be normal. Yep, yeah, first time. Let's see. And my monkey type is a bit shit. It was a bit different before, but not now. Uh, shit. Hmm. Sure, yes. I also have to practice. I will get better. Don't worry. When will you do competitive programming? I am not doing. I guess I want to get this backend running, and once it is running, I will do. Mm, wait, shit! I can do a stream tomorrow giving virtual contest. There have been two contests, this one and this one. Shit, I think I can do a stream tomorrow and also day after. Yeah, I can do streams after this one. So that would be like a third stream in the day. In the morning, the German stream, then this normal chess stream, and then in the around night, 8 o'clock, I will do a competitive programming stream. Virtual contest. Can I do it today? No, not today. Today, not today. For Japanese, I think there was a YouTube channel I was following, and I was able to understand simple Japanese words. Maybe that might be useful. I don't know. I don't know how to learn Japanese. Uh, katakana, katakana. What even is katakana? Kanji is the difficult thing. Yep. Yep. Learn Japanese with Japanese Pod 101. Yep. And yep, this is the woman who taught me the Japanese letters. There must be courses. Introduction to Japanese. Yeah, I think you can do this. But learning Japanese is going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult. I guess learning Spanish or something would be simpler than learning Japanese. My German series. Yeah. You can learn a new language on side without a lot of overhead. And in a few years, you will be able to speak a whole different language, which is just cool, which is just cool. And also, you're watching anime, I suppose, which is going to help you also. Okay, back to this. What is required? White, black, time, increment. What is user game object here? Yep, game logic. Data dot add this user with this time with this color with this time and with this increment, and increment. Why is increment not good here? Because color is not wide. Other player, argument of type user or undefined. Other player could be undefined. Where is the other player being defined? Other player is not, other player is being defined. Get game. And this might return undefined. Why could this return undefined? In this case, this might return undefined in case of error. If other player equals undefined, then break or like get out of this if condition. How do we get out of how I think we can break. Jump target cannot cross function boundary. How to break out of it? Maybe we have to use go to block. Break out of an if return have another if break for go to statement unconventional. Go to is good. Or we can check for both the things here, right here. Shit, yes, I think yep, we can do that. And honest other player. Shit, since that other thing is throwing an error, we need to have this in a try catch block. This whole thing in a try catch block makes sense. If player is not equal to undefined, then do this. Otherwise, catch and don't do anything. We will add this game automatically. Okay, now we have to write the game logic. Color is not required. Here, let's go console.log starting a backtick could not be typed in. Yep, my people cannot type backtick, so I have to like copy this from here of the internet. Uh, Starting a game between white dot username and also do some racism. White and black dot username. Black and full stop. Okay, and okay, this should work. This should this work? Yes, that should work. Yep, this should work. One run the backend. Shit cannot find module Zord types. Who is importing Zord type access Zord types? Shit. Common slash interfaces slash user Zord type. Server is listening and someone printed undefined somewhere. I shit. I think it was the index. No, it was not. It was APIs. Yep, this thing is undefined right now. Process.env, env dev. Remove swagger. What is this? One remove lj slash or maybe it was the server is running. Let's run postman and check postman. Okay, we will create a new user from the history post user slash create body username user number 42, password is this thing, send. User not created, we got some error. What is the error? We don't even have the error here. Yes, of course. Shit, I turned off the backend. Yes, I do watch anime. Uh, uh, shit. Ohio Mass and shit. I have to hide my screen because I turned off the database server and I have to turn it on. And I think you might be able to see some private information there, which you should not be seeing. But I guess you won't see it. Let's see. But that is just email. Nothing private here, I hope. Power on service. Created 9 days ago. Rebuilding. Learning Japanese is going to be like very difficult if you are going to seriously do it, because I suppose that you don't know the even the characters. So to even read Japanese, you have to spend time understanding the font, or what do you call it, lippy, the type cast case character set, Japanese character set. Rebuilding database is rebuilding. Okay, this gave this, but there was no log on the server. I guess if there was, that would be cool. On the back end, access, yep, return. Yep, and if this thing happens, then also console.log couldn't create user. No, if there was a user created, then we will console.log. And in this, yep, yeah, console.log, new user, new user created. Yep, and back tick is required. Still building, still building. Okay, your favorite anime, bro's favorite anime, my favorite anime. There cannot be a single favorite anime because multiple anime are very good. Gintama is also like very, very cool. Gintama is pretty cool. One Piece is pretty cool. And Attack on Titan is pretty cool. Monster is pretty cool. Yeah, and should there are some mangas. If you want some manga recommendation, which you might not want, but I'm just going to give it Fire Punch. This is like very good manga. It is just 82 chapters, and you can even get a PDF from archive, internet archive, Fire Punch. You can get the whole PDF. Uh, shit, why am I searching for archive on archive? Uh, Search for Fire Punch manga, and you should get the thing Fire Punch. I think. Mm, yeah, this is not the thing. Yep, this is the thing. You can torrent this and yep, download the whole manga. I think this is the whole manga, and this is a very cool manga. Yep, I am on Animalist. My Animalist got it. Shit, I have not logged in. Wait, my password might. It is not visible. Yo. And here, like yeah. What is your Animalist? We can. Shit, oh, shit. Wait. Who is actually doing this? Okay, I thought I was streaming from other account. Okay, I'm not, so that is good. Shit, it would have been very stupid. Shit, shit. Okay, it is good. It is good. I am not streaming from any other account. I am streaming from my account, which is good. Okay, yeah. Anyway, list and adding log, and the server is database is rebuilding, and it is taking quite a bit of time to rebuild. Wait, shit. I think I can add a keybind, which would type in two backticks. Space BT would be nice. Remaps. Vim command. What was the command to add things into the current file? Vim execute. Do not execute. PLP. Snippets.lua here. The command is vim.api.put. Create user command. We are not going to create a user command. Vim.keymap.set a keymap that in normal mode, if I press leader BT, no, BT is not right. GU leader A this. That sounds about right. And what is the thing that should be added? There is a single thing, which is two backticks. And these two cannot assign a string to parameter type list of a string. How do we create a list of the strings in Lua? I think like this. Nope, not like this. Like this. What even is C? True, true. What are the types of this? List type. Type is type is supposed to be string, okay. And then after follow something puts text at cursor in any mode. Vim dot piece compare parameters. C for character wise put this thing. Okay. After if true after the cursor be or before the cursor if false. No, put this thing after the cursor. If true, cursor at the end of the insertion. Yes, put the cursor at the end of the insertion. And now if we go to some file like this one and we press, we get back ticks. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. That is better. The backend is still rebuilding. Yep, I am safe. Shit. Okay, you were watching. I thought, yeah, it is cool. But why is this stream? Why is this coming from other account? I don't know. That is messed up. That is messed up. Okay, this is running backtick. Okay, running is a good thing. If we create a user, we do get the created user, which is cool. Copy, paste. That is one key. And if we were to create the same user again, we would not be. Yep, we would not be able to create it. User number 42 and user number 37. Another user created. Yes, these are different things. Okay. Now, if we start a game between these two, we will get this thing printed on the server, which would be cool. How do we start a game? We have to say that we want to start a game. New rap. No, endpoints have changed. We cannot say new rapid. Endpoints have changed. We have to say slash game slash create. And yep, with the authentication token and parameters have to be of some specific type slash game slash created. Create, not created. Create game. Not copy, paste, cool. And we will not send anything as the parameter. We will get error, which says this is the expected type. Parameters should contain color, which is of type color, then time, then increment, which are numbers. So, okay, why can we not add parameters? Bulk edit. Okay, we are shit. That is messed up. Okay, shit. Uh, user wants to play a game, but written this. and exit. Okay, connect, disconnected, and we got something in return. Wait, did we got something in return? We still got the message that user wants to play a game, which is fine, which is fine. But we should get this message after this point. User this wants to play a game, play not a rapid game, but a game as this color, which time should be time and increment should be increment. Incremental. That looks good enough. And shit, how do I remove this? That is good. But the problem now is if let's clear the message. I think we will not get the okay, we are getting this thing. Okay, that's cool. This came at 41:35. Okay, yes, we are getting this, and then the connection is disconnected. Okay, here parameters. This says that the type should parameters should be color, time, and increment. Better color as random. Yeah, just random then. And time 10 time is going to be in seconds. So 10 into 60, 600. And then increment 0, which is also going to be in seconds. And now again we got disconnection. Why? Start but undefined. Data is undefined. Data dot params. Okay. Data dot params is undefined. What is data? Well, data has a lot of things. Authorization token. Yup. These things are in query, not in params. Should these things are going in query actually, which is not a good thing, I think, because this will be accessible by the user in the like URL, and the user can just put anything here. Headers, maybe we can add this in headers. Maybe we can. So instead of params, use headers. And can we copy bulk edit? This also bulk edit. Add these key value edit. Cool. Connect and still error because we have to turn off the server and restart it again. Okay, still connection was ended. Now, headers dot data is undefined. Why? Headers does not exist on headers. Why would it? Headers dot headers data dot headers and this and okay, headers does have color, time, and increment. So what is the problem? Console dot log headers dot error. What is the error? Error is Zord error, invalid input, expected received string. Okay, we have to say that these things which have been defined by Zord, they must be there, but other things can also be there. Okay, how do you shit? What would be the question? How to specify the minimum objects or like how to specify the uh, sub in Zord? I think that is not a very good way of asking. WebSocket for what? For the continuous connection. You are alive. That is very good thing. You are alive and you are also smiling. Optional values. What is the word you need? Optional. Hello. Optional values. Optional values. Yeah, that is a good word. How to specify? Not optional because optional values would also be specified. Right? Optionally, there could be this thing or that thing. Pick, omit. Nope. Extract. Narrowing data with define mark. Yeah. Give your minimum arguments that must be present in an object. Zod is going to make shit. Okay, optional is the word. Not partial. Make all fields optional. Optional. Optional is the word. My bad. I'm John. Shit. Okay, you are John. Sell drugs. Wait, what do you mean? Okay. Hello, John, and you are anonymous. And okay, that is a very nice thing to see that you are alive. Uh, um, shit. What is it in Texas? Wait, are you in Texas or you were going to Finland? I think 2 a.m. Shit. I guess you should sleep. It is very like. I'm curious about your search history. Have you been searching? Wait. How did you see how to sell drugs online fast? That is a German show. Shit, you are in Japan. Let's go. So it must be evening in Japan, I think. Wait, and here, Prism here wanted to learn Japanese. Maybe you can tell him some things. And yes, also, how are you? Yep, it is. And how are you like? How are you doing? Apart from being alive, that is the minimum thing, I think, minimum information you can give. What is some more information you can give us? And hydration is cool. Flush out the bad things. Partial, optional. Apply refinements. Refine this approach. Makes all fields optional, but this uses to ensure certain numbers are present in actual. Wait, he was longing to meet with. What else? Oh, yesterday I had nosebleed badly, and now it is under control. Wait, it was like a open faucet. Water is coming out. Uh, um, right, maybe zombie, like a zombie. Yeah, well, like it is cool that you are okay now. That is pretty cool. Wait, removed the baddie part. Shit, you wrote something and it removed the baddie part. And yeah, that is cool. And I was like stalking your lead code, and you haven't been solving problems. But I guess maybe you changed username. But you are in Japan right now, and I guess you won't be solving lead code in Japan. Or maybe Japan is the best place to do lead code. I don't know. Object.partial, I guess, would be the way to go. Or we don't have to call partial right here. We can call partial right here. And shit. Now things could be undefined. Same problem as before. I made different clip. Now coding is always with me. Beat Japan. Share. Okay, that is some dedication, I guess. And but I guess also you have the ultimate excuse to make. But that is in some high spirit. That is pretty cool. I was a bit sick and I didn't stream for 2 days. And but you are doing lead code. That is pretty cool, inspiring. Yeah, keep at it. I think com life would be tragedy if it was not comedy. That is why. 200 by short sleep. Wait, 200 rupees or dollars? Or lucky B. After I recover, I will have to solve all it. All, like all means all. That is a big target. And yep, shit, that is a big target. I will stalk your profile. Yep, rupees 200 rupees. You can watch a movie maybe on Tuesday. Uh, and so how do I say that a given object must have the given parameters, and apart from that it can have any other parameters, and apart from that it can have any other parameters, and no, I am not a cyborg. Per day 150, monthly 6,000, more than enough for me to enjoy. Yep, for you to enjoy 6,000 rupees. Yeah, because you don't have to take on responsibility for fun. 6,000 rupees a month is pretty cool. You can host your servers. It would be expensive to host servers, more expensive than 6,000. People go broke. I've sent a link. Shit, you cannot send links here. You can send your username. The link disappeared with announcement of WebMCP. Do you think those captchas? I don't know what is WebMCP. Multi-company player. The rise of WebMCP. Shit, it started rising 1 day ago. WebMCP.dev. Shit. Is an open source JavaScript library that allows any website to integrate with the model correct protocol. What is model correct protocol? It provides a small blue widget in the bottom right corner of your page that allows users to connect to and interact with your web page via LLM. Okay, shit, this thing. Okay, uh, token. Hello, unable to parse token. Shit, I have to give a token. Okay, it is something. And what did bro said here? Uh, pass through works. Shit. Okay, that is some like divine intervention, I guess. John, but you are not 25. Wait, that is your username. Random gibberish name node. Like Vsauce. Vsauce name is random generated. This will allow LLMs to use the website natively via code, not just simulating clicks like calling functions. Shit. How to go to pro you slash this. Okay, you already have solved 100 problems. That is good. And yep, you have been at this and you are not here for a few time, but yep, you have been at it. That is cool. DP problems, divide and conquer, backtracking trees, fundamentals are also clear. And that is cool. Yep, you will have to solve, I guess, some 2000, 3000, 4000 problems. Almost there. Okay, dot pass through. Dot pass through. Signature. I want the signature dot parse. Let's see. And connection was refused. Why invalid? Okay, shit, I cannot scroll. How to scroll on Tmux terminal? Set G mouse on and the following line to enable mouse support. Okay, okay, that shit. That was easy. Invalid value. It says pass through, but okay. Expected number, but got not a number. Okay, so headers as variable and shit. Conversion of type record. Why is this thing a record to type? This does not make sense somehow. What is a record? Because not loud and it's not big at all. Headers run the backend, connect to the backend and see the error. Scrolling is crazy. Yep. It has color, time, and increment. Color, time, and increment are here. But there is an error still, somehow. I'll have to defeat leukemia. It is the first final boss in my life. Yes. Shit, that is a nice way of looking at it. First final boss. Yep. That is the spirit. And yep, keep going. Do not stop. When you are in Japan, you can like use vending machine to get anything, literally anything. Sagara game Maslow. I'm stuck at 60 or something for the last. Wait, 60 what? Okay, 60 lead code problem. That is not. Yeah, you can improve. And yeah, this is a very cool way of looking at it. First, final boss. Local host. Okay. There are going to be some changes in this household. This thing is going to be string from now on. Increment also will be a string. Yep. And I think enum should also be a string in that case. I think now we should be able to, yes, we are able to do this. Cool. Server is listening, but yep, we got error here. Color is of type string. Wait, why is it of type unknown? And if we do pass through connect and connection is on, that's cool. After this, we have to do this as we cannot find name create game, just import as a type. Argument of type unknown. Unknown is a thing, but no. Why is this unknown? Even though we are saying import this thing as create game. Create game as color as unknown somehow. And the other two things are as strings, which is not a good thing. Okay. Disconnect, and this is going to go in as string. And why is Zod stupid and not understanding? Convert this thing. Nice mic. Mac. Shit. No. Mm, everything here has a vending machine involved. Yep. I'll go solve some questions. Yep. See you. It is, I guess, 5 there, 5 in the evening. Go solve. Go break a leg. Mac is nice until it is not. We are shit. Unable to get user, unable to verify what the user has given us. We cannot use Zord because if we tell Zord that the expected type is a number, that the expected type is a number, but if the expected type that is actually given is a string, is a number which is represented as a string, then Zord gives us error, which is not very nice. This thing as maybe okay, and maybe if we tell this thing enum color, what is the type of this thing now? This is of type enum color. Okay, this is of type number. This is of type number. And even though here we are doing safe parse, this might lead to error. And shit, now there is an error conversion of that string. Record a string undefined to type this thing may be a mistake because neither they sufficiently overlap with the other. If this was intentional, convert the expression to unknown first. Type this thing is missing from the following properties, all of these properties, which is the type required. This thing is missing from the type required to create a user. Okay. Okay, let's take some help. I have in my headers some properties. I think this is a very general case, and there should be a standard solution for this. Some properties which have to be numbers, and I am validating them using XOR. But the properties are given are numbers which are given as strings, and seeing that is a verb. Yes, seeing them as string XOR is giving error. That is one error, and the other is about the enum. And yes, I am not a robot. Fire hydrant. Shit, that is painful. I was outside from morning. It is 14. Should wait, it is 14. So why are you solving lead code? You should be like having fun out there, I guess. I don't know. Didn't solve much. I'm gonna say sometime here. Wait, shit, it is 5 in the evening, so you have already had your fun, I think. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, go and grind some lead code. Mm, and I will sit here solve captcha. That is a car. Yep, it is working out pretty cool. Retry. Shit. Yep, next here. Uh, I have an object which has which is supposed to have um, a with value of type number, but number from Zord's UV, but the actual header contains the number and a string, and see that Zord is erroring. Shit. shit. Okay, this is unacceptable. I am using Zod and uh, headers is supposed and the headers is supposed to have a key with value of type number, but the actual header has the number and string and Zod is erroring on that. Shit, this thing is very bad. Poor, what is poor? Upload speed is fine, but something is poor. This thing here says poor. Good. This is exactly the kind of thing that forces you to understand what Zord is actually instead of just hoping it figures it out. HTTP requests always has headers. Your client receives this, but HTTP is text-based. There is no number at protocol level when you write. This should be a number for it. Zord sees a string and it told me a number. This is a string. I refuse. Okay, correct. Proper fix is solution one. Course dot number. This usually works. Usually, what you want. Okay, try to convert whatever comes into a number. Okay, that's fine. Transform manually, which is not very good. Okay, course. Z dot course dot number. Dot course dot number. And at least we should be getting two less errors. Should I guess we won't be getting any errors at all now, apart from color, because this is a enum. We will be getting error here. Connect and yep, connection stop, and we are not consoling anything. This dot error dot format flatten dot sort dot message. And this is the message code invalid type for color, invalid option expected either 0 1 or 2. Shit, which is good. Okay, yes, which is good. Where is color currently being defined? Should it is not being defined anywhere. uh, Currently it is being defined in the back. We will make color a public common thing because it should be a common thing, common commodity. With this common interfaces or enums, or we can just put it right here, interfaces, color dot or enums yes, export learn like this and import color from the neighborhood, import color from the that's actually easy. Cool, there we go. And here I think we can we use course with enum. Nope, we cannot. And here random, no, say 0 instead of random, and connection disconnected, expected one of these things. These were the possible values 0 and 2, and We didn't get them. Okay. Dot headers. And the other two things are okay, which is good. Now, yes, now data undefined. Data is undefined because of the pillar. Okay, that is a racist thing. Mhm. Shit. Okay, how do we even pass enum? Enum here, this thing wants to be zero, and we cannot coerce like we did with the number. So I think we should not use enum here. Instead, we should use number in the Zoc the dot coerce this thing as a number. Colors should come later on. Okay. Get that thing as a number. Yep. And if we do get to this point, say this is color raw or is not a thing. And if color in color, so, we have to import color here. Import color, which is enum in common functions. Remove color from interfaces user game. Where is it? Is it in helpers? Import color database interfaces. Okay, data is interfaces right here. Remove this, and this is record, which is a union kind of thing. Type game queue object. Game queue object will have these three things. Shit, why did I use record here? Construct a type with type of properties. Shit, I was asking ChatGPT something, and ChatGPT said use record, but what was record? I forgot. Record in TypeScript. Documentation utility types. The record type in TypeScript is a powerful utility, creates a new object type with a specified set of keys and consistent value type for all those keys. Record is a set of types, which is cool. Wait, shit, no, it is not cool. Shit, it is not cool. Shit, yes. Yep. Record. It is cool. It is cool. We have to now import. But what is record doing is in scale draw in an object. In an object, we will have key and value. We can usually specify what the type of the value should be. But how do we specify what the type of the key should be? We do that using a record in TypeScript. Cool thing to do. Are Zod enums int or their own types? How is the enum being processed in your code? So record is basically a type of hash map. Record is a type of hash map. A record is used to specify the type of a hash map. Yep, and hash map is a C++ thing. Records enum. Yes, here they are. Here they are. Zod enums. Because I am not telling what the enum should be, so by default they are integers, which is like number in JavaScript. JavaScript doesn't have integers. They're called numbers. Okay, import color as this is a very bad practice as CLR because we have color written here twice. Or we can say color type, which is better than CLR. Okay, cool. If color is a thing that is in color, then color should be equal to color. Color enum in of type color type by default. Let's say it is color type dot by default. Let's say random. If not, then if, if color is in color type, then color type. uh, and this should have worked, but it does not. This thing is not equal to undefined. Only then if this color is not equal to undefined question mark, then color. Otherwise, then black. That works. TypeScript type string is no shit. We could get undefined. We could get color dot black. Color dot black is fine. Mm, yeah. Hello. The Zod enum was for colors. Yes, it was for colors since they weren't being processed as one. Also, wait, was for colors. Yes, it was for colors. The name of the enum is colors, and I have not given any specific values that they should have. So it is using the underlying integers like game user. The it was using, now it is a number, but it was using integers. I think the value of the this is 2. Yep, this is 1 and this is 0. Cool. Also, how are you converting a random string to int? By parse int, because the underlying thing is supposed to be a enum, and when I send, because in the front end I will import this color enum and I will send like whatever the key value thing is, I will send the value as black when I'm sending the request, but instead of black, the literal string being sent, 0 would be sent because that is the value of black. So on the server side, I will read that as a string, and yep, I'll read that as a string and get the correct enum for that. From Postman, you are sending a random for the value. Now I changed that to 0. Shit, here, 0. It was before I was sending a random. My bad. But colors should be an int. So when you, how are you converting a string to proper int? Yep, now it is fine. Now it is fine. So how random should be parsed as, like, one can be parsed as. Now it is fine. Also for assigning colors, shouldn't you use what should I use for assigning colors? And wait. Okay, I can suppose that color is a number. Now, yep, I can suppose that. And I just have to get the right number, I think. If color greater than, can we just say let color E9 equal color as color type, that works. Okay, that just works. Color enum, wherever color is being used, instead that use color type, substitute color with color enum globe, and color enum is nothing. Now here also, how do we get the smaller range if color greater than equal to? What is the value of color type? The highest value. How not how to sell drugs, how to get the highest value from an E1 and TypeScript DS. Also, yep, shit. Yes, what should I use for colors? Define a numeric enum, generate a reverse mapping. Okay. Values, go through everything and find the max. Nope. Max, this is fine, but I think since we are not going to have more than 3 colors ever in the game of this, we can manually check colors value should be smaller than 3. If color smaller than 3 and color greater than equal to 0, only then, wait, if that is not the case, color is greater than equal to 3 or color is smaller than 0, then give back some error. WS dot send error through message bro, what color is with the right one, and expected params, yeah, just the same thing. Cool. That that should work. That should work. That should finally work, hopefully. see. Connect and connection disabled. Shit. Server got nuked. Color not found. Interfaces.ps inside database. Database is importing colors from the wrong place. Shit. Database interface. Color not found. Shit. Okay. Import color from common enums. Okay, color is not there apparently in the commons folder. Common grounds. It is here, so someone is like database interfaces. Common interfaces get color. Yep. So, so color is there, but it is not there. Save, save. This is not saved. Save. Game logic. Is- shit. Just create a new member, which will always be member of what? That will give you. Wait, member of what? Member of enum? That will give you until what numbers the enums are anything equal to or greater than that enum would be out of range. Or just manually check with 3 like enum 1 2 3 and last. Shit, that makes sense. That makes sense. 1 2 3 can be anything, and last could be a common thing in each enum that I'm ever using. And I so shit, that is cool. That is cool. Adding unknown thing at a place that is unknown, which yeah, which I can use to do something with the unknown thing. Cheers. Colors. Export named colors not found. In shit, someone is exporting colors from the wrong file. Not game logic. No shit. That is fine. That is fine. You can see the keys. This is just the JWT key. Who is importing colors from the wrong folder? We has have no need of colors. Maybe start game importing colors from common interfaces. Yep, that is the place to import colors from. We can use no, live grep. Who is importing colors? Shit. Culprit found. There are object not found. Import is it? With this is game requests dot yes. Why does this have installed? This file is not even being used. This file is legit not even being used. Game requests. Delete this. Yes. Oh, I guess it was being used. No, it is not. Color is still being imported by something. Live grip. Color. Yeah. Fine. Import. Yes, from com. The places that are using colors. Give shit that is the thing. Memory.ts is messing things up. Okay, shit, that was bad, but now fine. Cool. Server is running. Connect. Okay, we have one connection. One person wants to play the game, and the other person is, let's say, this is our current person. This is the non-current person. They both want to play the same game. Let's say, what is the key of the other player? The key would be this TW. Wait, um, the key of this player has at the end HW. So, yep, this one is key. The other one disconnected. Disconnected. Okay, but why? Time everything was sent. WebSocket, is the socket expired or some problem with the socket? This import colors. I which files are doing that? Shit, it might not be like this. That's quite effed up. Don't tell where the problem is. Yep, it doesn't tell where the problem is. It is not much code, so it is fine now. But imagine if you were to refactor it later when you're, yep. And yes, I think I will be adding logging, like you said, and also a file where I will write down what the things which have been happening till now, and yeah, the things that have happened till now, so that it is just not in my head. That was a good suggestion by you. And, hmm, this is not connected. And the only thing we have here is this, that the first user was connected. Is this user even there? We can check. Why? And yes, there also has to be a file where we will list all the APIs. Create login. Let's write a login API, which, what does this API do? Parse the response. Yep. Try to get this user from the database. Verify the user, which just means giving you a payload. Make a token out of this user. It why verify user? Verify user takes in this and returns a JWT payload, with verify user just checks the user from, okay, yeah, checks user from database if the user exists in the database or not with the password. Sign and return. Okay, so I guess maybe the JWT token expired, so we have to get a new one. Yep. Instead of log create, we will log in. See, and cool, we do have this thing. Copy. Okay, cool, connected. And these two users want to play a game. Okay, that is not right thing. Shit. Something messed up happened because we should have called this function and we should have started the game, but we did not start a game. Game create. So this line ran for both of them. And did we go into this? Well, at least we know that we are running till this line. After that, we don't know. And why did that other JWT expire? We also don't know that. I guess because it expired because of time. A lot of time was spent. Mm, if data is game, okay. Console.log, passed the first thing, then get game. Uh, second, stop, start, connect this, connected. This went, this didn't even went through the first check mark. So this thing failed. Is game. There is a game, it seems. How? This thing returned false. Shit, yes, which is correct. Yes, that is correct. Cool. It should return false. But for the second request, we should not get false. Let's see. I think it was this. Disconnected. Shit. Log in again. With user 42 right here. Take the JWT token. Where is our ongoing connection? Right here. This one and change the token. Connect and connected and still. Okay, shit. This didn't even go. Yeah. So his game is misbehaving. Console.log this dot game. Hmm. Yep, that's not GameCube. Print isn't taken anything, but console.log this dot game. And here data dot print how the data looks before and after. Okay. Connect This one also connected, and undefined. But undefined was only printed once for each request, which means this is giving error. We are not even going to this line. Wait, which might be because we are not doing data dot init. Shit. Init server, variability init, shit. Data init variable, shit. GameCube color black. Undefined. This is an object evaluating this type error. Undefined is not an object. Undefined is not an object. What does that mean in memory? We're doing this, and is this thing undefined? Never is not assignable to record. No problem with this. Okay. Undefined is not an object. The type of this thing should be record where the type is string and the value is use. Okay, shit. That makes sense. So GameCube user object type. No, that is fine. That is fine. That is fine. That is fine. But I think we don't have to use a string and this thing here. We can just say interface. No, we cannot find new interface. Or we give here an object. The key can be anything, but no, the last one was fine. This is going to be a record where the key is going to be of type string and the value is going to be of type user game object. Apparently does not work because of init. Here, shit. Never is missing. Type never is missing the following properties equals an empty list. Why is this never? Because initially the list is empty, I think. Push does not exist. Okay, shit. I messed up again. This thing is going to be a list. Cool. In it. There's problem with in it. And that is this GameCube color dot black equals an empty object. Undefined is not an object. What does that mean? This GameCube color dot black, we are defining it as an empty object, but undefined is not an object. Evaluating this. This thing is supposed to be an object where the key is going to be a string and the value is going to be of some specific kind. So why can this thing not be equal to a string? Interfaces. Yeah, let's ask plain old ChatGPT. What is the problem here? Why can't I make a game view object type? Or maybe a better question would be, and just have this first record here, and yep, this first record here, and can I make GameCube object of this from this and empty object? Like, I guess we should be able to do that. What do you actually mean? This is, yes, this is one of those places where TypeScript looks stricter. This is an object where any string key maps to a list of user game objects. It does not mean it must have at least one key. So this should be doable, but it is not doable. Somehow this is not doable. This is giving error. Undefined error. Maybe because we are not allowed to have memory in class. Why is Epic Games on? Shit. Music also good. Game object. Can I make an object which has some value and is an static object of a class? Yes, okay. A class, static property of a class, plain object with fixed values. No, this thing, yes, yes, this is what is required. This is like exactly what we are doing. Static, yep, static game queues. Now this, you don't need this. It belongs to the class itself. Uh, can that specific object have initial values? Yes, it can. You can make it, can you make it immutable? We can. Read only. You cannot reassign. Okay, I will not. But we can still mutate it. Truly immutable. Freeze. If you meant something else, can I create an object literal that is typed as a class itself? So this should be working. Shit, shit. We are changing the thing. Okay, shit. Yes, this should not be working because we are changing the thing later on. We are not changing the thing when it was defined. Okay, object literal may only specify known properties. Color does not exist here. It does exist here. Color does exist here. The LSP is lying. Yep, like so. Yep, like this. We should be able to do this, but we are not able to do this. Why? Oh shit. Okay. I guess because of this. Yep. Cool. Type this is missing the following properties. 1 and 2. Okay. Black, white, and random. So we don't have to initialize memory. Server is running. Cool. Connect, connected, connected. And okay, starting a game between user this as white and user this as black, and we are going through everything. And we got second afterwards. Someone printed these things. Print data. Run game. So we can run a game now. That is cool. We can run a game. This says player 42 wants to play a game as zero, which uh, in PSI at the enum numerical value. How do I get the key for that enum? Just types. Okay, if I have share, that is not okay. Share it is. I can get the opposite thing. It is a bidirectional thing. Value key. Okay. So here instead of color, we can say color type slash color enum. Start the server again and wants to play as black. Cool. Because here we have 0 and okay, one player wants to play as black, and if the other player also wants to play as black, they should not be able to play a game with each other. Both the player want to play as black. Why are they playing with each other then? Shit, not that, but yep, okay. Other player could be white or could be black. What is this get king doing? Okay. If the color current color is this, then we want the other color to be anything but this. So we need some helper function. Uh, get opponent color. That is, we have a function const get opponent color that takes in color of type color and returns a list of enum. Import color. Second. Phone is charging. That is pretty cool. Look. Okay, a nice and easy challenge. Write the backend in C++ Crow. Let me like nice and easy. I don't know that. Let me finish the backend in at least a JavaScript. Okay, and the return type of this would be color list. That is how we tell the return type. That is how we tell the return type. It is giving error because we are not returning anything. Cool. Return res and okay. If color equals import color and color in color. Okay. If color equals color dot black. If the current color is black, then ls dot push two things. Color dot white. And can we give multiple arguments here? I think. Yes. Can we give a list here? No, we cannot. If the current person is black, they can play white or they can play random, and we can use case would switch would be much better here. Switch in color. That is how we do this. Switch in JavaScript. Okay, which in color and in case of color dot black, rest of push dot white and rest of push color dot done, and white is wrong because capital W, and then break and use color dot white rest of color dot black and rest of push color dot random. and break, and in case of color dot random push legit everything, push color dot white black random black black random and white. Okay, and so this thing so that it is available here. Opponent colors is a list of colors which is which you will get by that opponent color and give the current color which is color even. This color refers to a value what is color type. Yeah. Data is game. And yeah, wait, I will be like right back. Can't you do a simple not operation to automatically assign the other color to the person? If player 1 chooses black, then player 2 should be not 1, which is 0, white. Or player 2 could be a random person who wants to play any color at all. So it is not like that. It is not like that simple. And also, if the current person is random, then they can play a black person, a white person, or a random person, a person who wants to play any color at all. So, yep, here we don't have a binary choice. And okay, when we do have a list, we will try to get the other opponent. Yep, shit. Now we will try to get the other opponent. Shit. Instead of get opponent color, we should just get the opponent himself, which would be much better. Shit. Yes, we should just get the opponent himself. Hmm. Hmm. Yep, we should just get the opponent. So we do need another helper function. Get opponent color or rename this to get opponent. This has this function and another function. Now pause to get opponent is this thing. What would it take in, in color, which is of type color, and time is of the essence. Time, which is of type number, and increment, which is also of type number. This will return something, and before deciding what, I will go to the washroom and I will be right back. back, and that is cool. Okay. Color, what should be the type of opponent? What should this function return? Get opponent. This will first of all get a list of colors. Colors, color list equals get opponent color for and given the thing color. Okay. And how are we getting the opponent there? There we were getting opponent like this. Using data. So import data. Hmm. Do not run this if other player undefined. What is the type of other player? Other player type is user game object. This will return user game object or null if the other user does not exist. User game object or null if the other user does not exist. Yep. There's some problem with some things somewhere. Yep. What is this for? Okay. We got the opponent colors. Okay. And then for let see of opponent colors, we will get a game. Let opponent, we will try to do something. We will not try twice, we will only try once. Well, this cannot find name, color, that is a nice thing. C, given C. Okay. Opponent would be of that data dot get game or like this whole thing with just like do not return const opponent is of type this, and if opponent is not equal to undefined, then return opponent. Otherwise, at the end, return nil. There is no such opponent. Cool, that is a good thing. Okay, so here is game. Nope, just remove all of that and pause, open other user, other player, or other, not other opponent or opponent. Get get opponent with color. We give it color, we give it time, and we give it increment. And if we got an opponent. Then start game with current player, opponent with this time and with shit, depending on what the colors should be. Yes, we should call these things respectively. So, okay, the color of the current player and the color of the opponent. The current, the color of the current player and the color of the opponent. These two things are required. We know the color of the current player, but we do not know the color of the opponent because it might be random or it might be some specific color. So along with this, this does not seem like a good thing. We can define an interface right here because this is not going to be used. Or we can just remove the return type and do a little bit of cheating. Either null is returned or opponent with color C is returned. Okay, and what would be the return type of this function? Return type is this, which we can write in place. This looks fine. User game object cannot find user game object. You will find a user game object like so. Hmm, that's cool. Uh, okay, and now that's cool. That's cool. Get opponent, and okay, we have the color for the opponent. Opponent response or something. Okay, if opponent response, we did get some response. So first of all, we will check if either of them is random. If none of them is random, then we can just choose any color and yep, fix it. If at least one of them is random, then something. And if both of them are random, then something else. So if let rand count, like random count, which is initially equal to 0, right? Shit. We lost our rand count. It is here. Okay, a rand count. And if, not if, rand count equals, or can I use plus equals? We can use plus equals in JavaScript. Okay. If color enum equals color type dot random, then add one, otherwise add 0. And now instead of color enum, check for opponent response dot color. That thing is random, then increase one. Okay. Now if rand count equals 0. If that is the case, then start game. Which one is white? If color enum equals color dot white, or color type dot white, then the current player is white and the other player is black. No, we will call the start game at only one moment. Start game. We will make it so that the current player is always white and opponent response dot opponent is always black. Time. Okay, it's not callable, huh? Start game is not callable. Start game is this helper. I think it is run game. The name of the function is run game. Game logic, run game. Okay. The current player is, let's say, black. Then swap. We don't have swap. So then we need to swap these two things. Const temp equals color enum and color enum equals opponent response dot and this thing is const. Shit. Wait, this is not const. So what is the problem? User object is not assignable. Shit, not color enum. That does not make sense. Current player, and this should also be, but it is const. This thing is const. Let's make it let. Don't want to get the opponent color. Okay, and opponent response dot. Oh, here, let's say not oppo equals current player. Okay, temp. Not current player, but equals temp. We have swapped these two successfully. Yep. Rand count is one. But if else if rand count equals one, then what? One of them is random and the other one is not. So first of all, we have to see which one is not random. First of all, we have to see shared which one is not random. For which if okay, so we will make it so that the current player is random. So if current player is not equal to color type of random, then make the current player random, and for which we will need swap. So we should write a function which swaps two variables, which means can we pass value by reference in TypeScript? No, shit. We cannot pass values by reference, so there will be no point of writing a function like that, a reverse function. Or maybe we can write a function like that. No, it would be heavy. It would be heavy. I think it would be heavy. Current player and wait, what? Current player? Oh shit. color enum. Yep, so now the random player is the current player. Now, depending on what the other player is, if if the other player is black, then the current player can be white, no problem with that. But if the current other player is white, then we have to swap them again. So why did we swap them in the first place? Current player being random. Okay, if the current player is not random, then make him random. Okay. Yeah, we'll do the swap again. I'm thinking maybe there might be a way in by which we do not have to swap multiple times, but we only have to swap once. After this, we know it's shit. After this, we know inside here the current player is random. So if the current player is random and the other player is white and opponent response dot color equal color type dot right, another player is white, then only swap these two. That would be the only case when the current player cannot be white. Or else, or maybe this end condition should come internally. Okay, if the current player is random and the other player is white, then swap. But if the current player is random and the other player is not white, he must be black or she must be black, then this. Okay, else if the current player is not random, current player has a color, and if that color is black, if that color is black only, then swap. Okay, and then run the game. Cool. Everything is working out fine, and yep, 3 hours. So that is cool. Okay, let's try some permutation combination. 0 means black, 1 means white, and 2 means random. Let's say this player wants to play any color whatsoever. Connect to the server, connected. And this other player wants to play as black. Now, the only possibility is that this player will play. And who is this player? This player is hmm, let's see. Starting game between user 37 as white and the other one as black. Black 2 means random. So this user is random. Shit. Okay, so this user, this one is random, and this one, shit. Ah, this one is random, and this one is also random. So they are both random. Okay, shit. This one, let's say, is 1. Connect and off. Pause. Yep. Okay, one means white. This person wants to play as white, and this person wants to play a random game. And we got white as 37. So this one is white 37, user number 37. Cool. And now if we start a game and we make 37 wants to play as black, and wait, black is 0. 37 wants to play as black, and 42 wants to play as random. Let's see, are they able to play a game with each other? Yes, they are able to. 37 did play the game as black, and the other one is playing as white. So that is cool. That is cool. Now what we have is, now we can actually start working on this function which runs the game. Let's make a git commit. Add all of this. Message. Pre-game logic. Deciding the colors and yeah, deciding the colors and stuff. Yeah, get push me, and that would be it for today. Yep, that would be today's stream, and thank you for being here. We will stream tomorrow also too. Bye.